All right, welcome to another episode of The Fighter's Stance. This one is the Combat Sports Edition. I am Andrew Craig, joined by Patrick Blast Double Miller, coming off the big win last night. Congrats, Pat.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Also, your girlfriend killed it last night.
She crushed too, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This podcast brought to you by Sheepdog Response. Sheepdog Response is the #1 training course to enable the average citizen to be more of an asset than a liability when things go south. A couple of the courses that we have coming up this weekend, we got a Pistol 1 on Saturday, Vehicle Defender on Sunday, and the always highly sought after women's only Pro 1 July 12th through 14th here in Austin. With that all said, Pat, what are we talking about today?
Hey, so today we're going to talk about UFC 303. This is the first, we're going to start doing all these for like UFC fights, Bellator, Karate Combat, any big events that are coming up, especially stuff that's local. We're going to start going through the fight cards and breaking them down. Again, you really don't want to take our advice if you plan on putting money on these, because we're probably both going to be wrong somehow, even if we pick opposite fighters. So
let's see how it shakes out. It will be interesting to see who gets more wins at the end of this thing.
Yeah, so we're going to go through, we'll break down some of the fights on the early prelims, and then we'll go through the prelims and the main card, and we'll talk about some of the fighters and who we think is going to win.
Let's do it, man.
All right, so we will start with Ricky Simone and
Vinicius Olivera. Let's do it, man. Yep. So Ricky Simone, the favorite on this one, which I think is a little funky considering this Vinicius guy is so good with a 20-3 record, Simone a 20-5 record. Simone's been in the UFC for a hot minute now.
Yeah, and also if you look at this Vinicius Olivera, he has 16 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, and 14 first-round finishes. So, like my man is just wrecking people.
Safe to say he's a fast starter.
Yeah. So, and I mean, and Ricky Simone's he's got some miles on him, bro.
He does, man. But you know it's a monster card when they open up the early prelims with two guys like this, a 20-3 versus a 20-5, who are the very first fight of the night. I mean, they're fighting when this arena is still empty. Yeah. Like, there's going to be a few claps in there, but it's basically silent in there.
You wouldn't be there for another 4 hours. I would be there already, sitting as close as I could.
Oh, I thought you meant if I was fighting. Yeah, no, I'd be that first fight.
No. Oh,
nobody's there.
No. When you fought Chris Lieben, it was packed.
Okay, it was packed. Yeah.
But I'm just saying you don't show up.
Right. No, I'm a main card guy. I'm a total snob that way. Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Okay. All right. So for this one, man, okay, Ricky Simone, bad dude. Only a few losses. Those losses have been via KO. Uriah Faber being one of them, who really doesn't knock out anybody. No. So I got to pick Vinicius on this one, even though he is not the favorite.
So I think Ricky has enough, like he's been in the game and he's kind of a veteran, where I think that he's going to like take this into like later rounds, and we'll see if Vinicius Olivera can hang on and like get the W. So I'm gonna go with Ricky. So
okay, I like it. We're odds already, man. Yes. That's good.
It'd be boring if we just pick the same fight. Yeah. Some of them we will. I feel like the main event we're gonna pick the same person.
Yeah, let's not get there yet, but I think we're on the same page. Yeah. Carlos Hernandez versus Ray Saruya. The old 8-0. I'd have no pick on this one. I don't know this guy. I don't know either of them. That's probably a fight that I will not watch closely.
Yeah, I'm going to abstain from even picking.
Okay,
let's just go to the next one.
Let's do it.
So Andre Arlovski, he has 6 hours and like 32 minutes fighting in the UFC.
I mean, I remember watching him when I was in college and hadn't even started really training yet. Yeah. And he was, headlining pay-per-views. It's incredible. Yeah. This guy's staying power.
Yeah. And then Martin Boudet.
Yeah.
I hope that's how you pronounce his name.
I think you're pretty close, man. I looked at Boudet. I mean, he is a huge dude. He's a true 265er, He's one of those guys that probably cuts to make the 265. Arlovski is not. Arlovski is like 45 years old. This guy is, 30 years old, 15 years younger. Arlovski also on a 3-fight skid, which I looked back. I was like, I wonder if Arlovski's ever been on a 3-fight skid before. He's been on a 5-fight skid in the UFC. Yeah.
So who are you going with?
I'm going with the big boy, Boudet. I almost said the big Eastern European. I think they're both Eastern European.
They are 100%. Yeah. So agreed. But Andre Arlovski says United States.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Props, dude.
Yeah. So I have to agree. I just Andre Arlovsky. It's awesome he's still in it, but it's kind of how I feel about Mike Tyson. Like, I love what you've done for like fighting, but like let's just like relax.
Listen, Arlovsky will always be the first guy that had the fang mouthpiece.
Yeah, no, he will.
Yeah,
and have a very hairy chest and back in the UFC.
Hell of a bod, dude.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Martin Buday.
All right, Buday it is.
Yeah,
we agree on that one.
I feel bad for Arlovsky.
Jillian Robertson versus our gal, karate hottie Michelle Waterson Gomez. Both of them quite a bit of experience. Jillian Robertson's one of these chicks. She's 13-8. You know, like in boxing, that kind of record does not fly. In the UFC, you can be 13-8, almost 500, and still be fighting at a high level.
Do you think it's just because like the level, like the women's divisions are so like light? And
I think that's for sure part of it. Yeah. But I mean, I've known Michelle forever. A huge fan of hers. I got to imagine she's nearing the end of her fight career, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think of this one as much of a tune-up fight to get back on track. I almost think of it as a much more attainable win to go out on as a retirement fight.
Do you think that if she wins, she's done, and if she loses, she might do one more?
I really can't.
I mean, either way.
I'm not sure, but a win, I'd like to see her hang it up. She's got a lot of other things that she's pursuing. I mean, she's actually helping instruct a lot of our women's only sheepdog classes now.
So the Jillian Robertson, Michelle Waterson just fought. What's Raquel
Pennington?
What's her?
Tecia Torres.
She fought Tecia Torres not too long ago, and Tecia Torres was on whoever wins that was like fighting for a title.
Right. I mean, Michelle's been right at the very top a couple times, man. But you know how it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Michelle Waterson just because she's part of the family.
Going Michelle. Hopefully gets that W and can ride off into the sunset.
Hopefully, there's more than like 4 people in the arena for it, though.
All right. All I really care about in this next one is I want you to pronounce Yannis's last name. Guray.
He is. I had to look where the country of origin was and how I was going to pronounce it.
You know what? I said Guray like that before I even knew the country of origin. I was sure I was wrong until I looked at your computer.
Yeah, it's France.
Yeah,
and that's not how they say Guray in France.
Oh, dang,
yeah,
dude.
that's Italian.
Oh, whatever. right.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, when you're right, you're right. Dude.
Yeah, no big deal. Yannis Guray, but I think that's actually how you probably pronounce it. We're probably really wrong. We'll find out when Joe Rogan
no doubt
nails it. Versus Peyton Talbot.
Dude, Peyton Talbot, 8-0, man. I was once 8-0 myself. Yeah, but I did not make it to 9-0.
Look at the odds on that. Minus 1,600 to plus 900. Like, those are got to be the biggest. Like, I'm going to put money on Yannis Guray just because.
Whenever I see a dog that big in fights, I'm just drawn to choose them because it's not like you're like it's not like UT versus UT El Paso or something like that. This is a fight where almost anything can happen.
Yeah. Also, he's got a 12-2. One of his losses was his last fight in the UFC. Like, it's not that bad.
No, guy's legit for sure. If he's at this point on the card, he's in the UFC's. Got 14 fights. But with the odds stacked that hard against him, I really want to watch this fight and see about Peyton.
Yeah, 100%. Also, if Peyton loses, like, don't ever expect to have that big of
not a good look, Peyton.
So who are you going for, bud?
All right, I'll go. You know what? I'm going to bet on this one. I'm going to go Guray and see if we can't get the nice upset.
Okay, so I kind of gave you one of those before, so I'm going to go Peyton Talbot on this
one.
Well,
I mean, that's a safe pick, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, this one, I looked it up a little bit, looked into it. Charles Jourdain, a Canadian fella versus Jan Silva. Jan Silva, 21-11-3. I was like, who is this guy? I don't recognize him. Looked him up. He took a 15-year break. Before his Dana White Contender Series fight in 2023, this guy last fought Takanori Gomi in Pride in 2005. Some people have like a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus. that guy 15-year, you've had like 3 careers in between them.
You could have went to like grade school, middle school, high school. Like 15 years, so long.
I mean, I got to imagine he's gotten a lot better in that time, but he is 46 years old, whereas Jourdain's almost 20 years younger.
Yeah, but Jourdain's got a rough record, 15-7-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I mean, that's a lot of wins, though, man. He's got a lot of UFC experience as well.
I realized the John Silva guy, like he took off forever, but he's 12-2. And whenever you look at like the picks where it's like plus 160 and negative 190, it's pretty even. It's
right.
close.
It's a pick 'em, right?
Yeah. So who are you gonna pick?
I'm going Jourdain, man. You know,
really?
I typically don't like to support Canada, but
don't like to support Canadians.
Yeah, no, I mean, but GSP changed all that. No, I'll go Jourdain, man. I just think this Jean Silva guy, I'm sorry, might be he's almost 50 years old, dude.
I'm gonna go Silva.
Do it.
Look, he's old, but like
good luck, bro.
Yeah, he's also got I think that's the Lord tattooed across his stomach.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah.
Yep. Nope. He's gonna win.
Okay, good deal.
Yep. All right. This one very difficult to pick.
This one's sick. Yeah,
because like I feel
this should be a pick 'em, right?
Yeah. I also don't know why it's not on the main card. Like this Cub Swanson, legend. Andre Touchy-Feely, legend.
Right, right.
If you look at the records, he's 23-11, which is not great.
29-13.
Yeah, also not great. But they also have been in the game.
They've been in the game. I mean, Cub's been in the game forever, right? WEC fights. He's fought Jose Aldo way back in the day in WEC. Was he ever the 145 champion in WEC?
No, I don't think he ever got the belt.
He never got the belt.
For it a bunch of times.
Yeah. Been there, done that. I almost think that Fili is like a younger, taller version of Cub. So I'm going to go Fili on this one. I think it's a good matchup. Fili's coming off of a bad KO loss to Dan Ige. But Dan Ige's a monster. Fili's good, trains hard. I know the guys he trains with over at Alpha Male, and he does a lot of work with CSA, Combat Sports Academy up in Dublin, California with Kieran Fitzgibbon. So the guy's legit. He took a nasty punch on his last one by Ige, but that could happen to anybody.
How long ago was that fight?
It was earlier this year, February of this year. Wait, maybe it was February 2023, actually.
Okay, so
there'd be no way of knowing.
Yeah. So the problem that I have with it's February 2024. So that was it's a short break for a ice cold knockout, right? And so like if we look at like the Makhachev thing, right?
Right.
Like Makhachev got knocked out, and then he fought. He got. Not Makhachev, no. Volk got knocked out by Makhachev, and then like 3-4 months later, he was
fought Topuria. Yeah,
which, not great.
No.
So I'm gonna go with the experience of Cub Swanson because of like if Andre Fili didn't get knocked out his last fight like that, then I would go Fili.
Right.
But because he did get like iced. Like I'm gonna go with Cub Swanson because if anything from the last probably 6 months has taught me is if you take a rough knockout like that, like probably not the best idea to hop back in there right away. I feel like was it Freddie Roach made one of his boxers? He got knocked out, and I think it was Manny Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
He made him take a year off.
After Juan Manuel Marquez fight.
Yeah, he made him take a year off to recover his brain, and that's going to give you longevity. MMA fighters are not paying attention to that, and they're getting right back in there.
No, you always hear about Forrest Griffin before he fought Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
When Anderson Silva smoked him walking backwards, that Forrest had suffered a huge KO in training, or at least a couple of them.
Yeah.
Like when my guys get dinged too hard in sparring, I'll hold them out the next sparring session. Maybe they'll hold the next week, It's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, 100%. So that is why I am going to pick Cub Swanson.
Yeah, I say it's not worth it. With how much these guys are making, maybe it is worth it.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I'm sure that Volk got Scrooge McDuck money whenever he fought Makhachev, and then to fight Topuria too. So I just, for me, I think Cub Swanson's going to be his brain is going to be better because Andre Fili just got iced again.
Yeah, I mean I think that's a good pick, and neither one of these guys going for a takedown. It's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be a kickboxing match. You think that somebody's going to go for a takedown?
I think maybe Cub.
Man, when's the last time Cub got a takedown?
So I think that he tried versus Ortega.
Oh,
but not
bad guy to do it against.
Yeah, not a horrible guy to try to take down against. But
yeah.
But I think Cub has the ability to, Although Andre Fili trains it alpha male, so he's gonna have good takedown defense.
No, and Cub's legit black belt, but I think Fili has a more dynamic. I mean, and that's a weird thing to say, more dynamic game than Cub, because Cub is so. I mean, so athletic, capable to do so much. But I'm still gonna go Fili.
Okay, I'm gonna go Swanson. Ooh,
sweet,
we're at odds again.
Yeah, buddy.
Joe
Pfeiffer
versus
Marc-Andre Barriault. Okay, so I like
Canadian
this.
names.
Yeah, I like. Okay, so this matchup, right? It's the undercard, but it's the top of the undercard. So it's right before the main card starts, and you put a banger of a matchup in like this. Joe Pfeiffer, everybody thinks this guy's the second coming. This guy is a total monster. Marc-Andre Barriault, I looked at his record a little bit. He's a huge dude, right? However, I think he's being brought in here a lamb to slaughter. I don't think he's going to do much for Pfeiffer, and I think Pfeiffer's going to run through this guy.
So I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Although the Marc-Andre Barrioud, he's got cool tattoos.
Very cool tattoos.
I don't think it's going to help him out because Joe Pfeiffer is a monster.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to run through him. So I'm going to go Pfeiffer. I think we're probably in the...
Pfeiffer.
Okay, cool.
Okay, main card now.
So that is the main event of the prelims, and then now we're going to the first bout of the main card, and it's a welterweight bout. So... Michael Venom Page is like, the UFC loves to do this to people. Like, whenever you come from another organization to the UFC, they give you tough fights.
Yeah.
Like, and Michael Venom Page, he was good in Bellator. He wasn't the best. Like,
almost, right? Because he got to the 70-pound title, lost to Douglas Lima, right?
Which also
savage, but pretty much everybody up to that point, he was destroying them. Sprint right hands,
he almost killed Cyborg, crushed his skull.
Yep. Looked like a cracked egg or something in his forehead.
My man can't go through TSA anymore.
Pretty sweet. Machado Gary, I think everybody's kind of on the same page as far as he annoys everybody, but he's a really good fighter, man.
Also lives a wild lifestyle, bro.
Ian Machado Gary does? How so?
You're talking, that's the guy that has his wife is like an older lady who wrote a book on being an older lady seducing younger athletes.
Right.
And her ex-husband is that Ian Machado Gary's chef.
No way.
Yeah, bro. He cooks for him.
That's so strange.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, he got roasted.
Wow.
Like he didn't because Conor McGregor was I think it was Conor McGregor, or maybe it was one of them, like the bigger shit talkers, either Conor McGregor or it was Colby Covington. They were supposed to. He was supposed to be part of a press conference. He didn't show up because he knew they were just gonna fucking light him on fire.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go again. Whatever. I don't like him, but I think Ian Machado Gary's gonna win.
I'm going MVP, dude. His last fight against Kevin Holland was so impressive. I like his style of fight. Like, I could never pull something like that off, but I think he's so much fun to watch. I'd like to see him get that win over Machado Gary. And you know what I think makes MVP stand apart is his defense.
Yeah, so do you know what I think happened in that Kevin Holland and Michael Page fight?
Which brings me to my next point. No, go ahead.
No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so no, I think that the Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland, I think it was one of those where Kevin Holland is a wild dude and wants to beat you at whatever you're good at.
Right.
So I think he was like, I'm just gonna stand with him.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that Kevin Holland could probably take him down.
Didn't he try to no avail?
Well, it's like kind of.
Okay.
Like he did I think he tried to do upper body takedowns.
Yeah.
And because again, Michael Venom Page crushed Cyborg's skull.
You can't shoot. You can't lower your head on him. Also, he just keeps that distance. He's so hard to get a hold of.
So I think what you have to do is you have to get to upper body, like over under or like a tie clinch, get him against the cage, then level change to the skinny legs,
right,
and then pull his legs out. Because if you shoot a double leg, he's gonna knee you in the face.
But is Ian Gary that good at wrestling? Can he close the distance on that? Get the upper body tie and change levels on him?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Ian Machado Gary. You're gonna go.
He's got youth on his side, but I'm going MVP. I think he'll go far in the UFC. I don't think he'll be a champion, but I think he'll make some guys continue to look bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
back to my interlude to defense, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. No,
100%. Yeah. Tell us about defense, dude.
Okay, so we do commercials in these, but we'll do one of these right now. So here at I fought last night. I did a jiu-jitsu match last night. I didn't fight. Andrew fought. But I trained today, and I got off the mats, and I used defense wipes the same as I always do. If I have to do a podcast or something else, I always use defense wipes. Not this one. This one's been on the table now for 6 months. They're still good though. We have a giant tub of them, and we also just got some of this mat cleaner. So if you have a jiu-jitsu academy or you have some mats in your garage, stop using bleach. Use some of this. This is great. Use this.
Dude, these are the only soaps I like using now. Even like the Dr. Bronner's soap you can get that kind of has the same peppermint feel for it, like eucalyptus and tea tree oil and stuff like that. Though. This is way better. Even the Dr. Bronner's, which is supposed to be this all-natural stuff, still has some nasty oils in it, like sunflower canola oil or something like that. I'm like, I don't need this. This stuff is the real deal. Code SDR15.
SDR15, you get 15% off.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah. All right. Next fight.
Oh, wait. Back to the grappling thing, though, because you made the clarification on the fight, you know? I was talking about this with some of Mary's friends because they were talking about him. And it's like grappling really takes some liberties with some terminology, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like a super fight. Yeah. What do you think about like when you hear like, oh, there's going to be a super fight, dude?
Yeah, so
that to me is like the 205 championship or something. The super fight is essentially just a single grappling match.
Yeah, so... right. But they do it because it's like the name, the terminology makes it sound better. Yeah, 100%. And also, I've fought MMA before. I don't think what I did last night was a fight. Right. It was fun.
Yeah.
But no one punched me in the face.
Right.
I got hands underneath my throat and elbows.
Yeah, Curtis is doing a good job framing on you, dude.
Yeah. No, I trained a body lock for like 13 minutes. So I just
that was solid.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on.
All right.
Mera Bueno Silva versus Macy Chason.
I don't know actually how to pronounce it.
Yeah, she's from America, so that doesn't really mean anything.
I looked at both these gals. I think they both have a recent loss to Raquel Pennington, actually. I think this one's a bit of a toss-up. I'm not super familiar with either of their games, but for whatever reason, I'm leaning Macy.
Then I'll go. Mera. I'll go Mera Bueno because her name is Bueno, and we used to be sponsored by Bueno energy drinks. They're so good.
You loved those, dude.
Oh yeah, bro.
They were basically poison, but but it got you jacked up.
I would drink them before every podcast, and then be like, I think my heart's gonna explode.
Okay, next 3 fights I'm super amped up about, man. The co-main event. Roman.
So let's talk about this too.
Okay.
There was supposed to be a different 205-pound fight. Right, it was supposed to be Jamal Hill versus somebody else, and then that fell through, and then they put this fight, and this fight. Because originally this card was supposed to be
Connor and Chandler,
and then I guess Alex Pijeo was like, I'm not doing anything else. June 29th, I might as well get in there and
I never noticed
CTE.
How many different accent marks Jiri Prochaska has on his name? Like that one above the R, I've never seen that.
They look like his hair.
That was good. Okay, taking it back. Roman Dolidze? Dolids? I think it's Dolids, right?
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Georgia, not the state.
Yeah, the country.
Versus Anthony Smith. I like this fight. Anthony Smith, quick story about Anthony Smith. I tried out for, dude. Yeah. I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter in 2009 after 3 amateur fights, which you're not supposed to go try out unless you have pro fights, right? But I was like, I'm going to do this anyway. Sat at a table with Anthony Smith in Vegas for several hours, and neither one of us made it onto the show. And it's really cool to see him now because since then, he's gone to the UFC, got cut from the UFC, won on local shows, back in the UFC, and now he's one of the mainstay analysts. The guy is super talented. He's kind of at this point now where he is such a veteran. He kind of fights like, remember Alistair Overeem at the tail end of his career?
Yeah.
He was kind of like fighting in slow, like nothing like super exciting, just very efficient and effective. That is where Anthony Smith is right now. However, I think that when he goes up against these monsters like Dolids, I think it's going to be a little too much for him. Anthony Smith, 38-19. That is so many fights. Dolids coming off a loss to that Russian dude.
I mean, everyone's coming off loss in the UFC.
Yeah, Imavov. But I'm going Dolids. Dolids got super hard puncher, nasty ground game.
Didn't Anthony Smith fight Tim? Didn't Tim fight Anthony Smith back in the day? Because Anthony Smith fought at like 185 too.
He did, yeah. He was a 185er for a while.
Yeah, bro.
Big wins there. Big wins 205.
So whenever someone becomes an analyst, and then they're still fighting, I'm like, oh, man, like you're in a dangerous area where you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
True.
Like, excuse me. So I again that Roman Dulitz, like, dude's from Georgia. Like, that dude's concentrated. Like, he gave me a commentator. Like,
I don't know if he speaks English.
Yeah, right? So, like, that my man's concentrating on fighting.
Yeah, big time.
Like, and he's going to jump in the top 10 after this fight because I got to go Dulitz.
Yeah, I agree, man. Once you're commentating, it's kind of hard to keep that same fire, especially when you've got almost 60 fights. I don't know how you keep that same kind of intensity and passion for fighting. You know, it's definitely more of like, I mean, it's always a job, but it's definitely more of a job.
Maybe you have enough CTE, though, where you're just like, don't even, it's like, whatever.
That's possible. But the guy is pretty articulate behind the desk. However, I'll go Dulitz as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. They don't even have the odds. Come on, UFC.
Come on, UFC.
Co-main, which also, like, Brian T-City Ortega versus Diego Lopez.
Yeah.
This is such a dangerous fight for Brian Ortega.
Big time.
Like, and Brian Ortega, again, like, when he had them braids, like...
He's always got the braids, dude.
No, like, we had the two, and he had dime Brian Ortega.
Pretty sweet, dude, yeah.
Killing it. But Diego Lopez is like
he's the new man.
Yeah, but he's the Brazilian. What's that heavyweight that was just killing everybody? Almost killed Alistair Overeem. He just boxed against Tyson Fury not too long ago. Francis Ngannou.
Oh, okay.
Because like
did you say he was Brazilian?
Diego Lopez. It says Brazilian. Look.
Yeah, Diego Lopez.
No. I know, but no.
Okay. Ngannou.
Yeah, Ngannou. So he was like doing like lawn care and shit before he got.
Oh,
in the UFC.
right.
Yeah. Like,
no, he's one of these guys. He's gonna be at the top for a while. Ortega has already been at the top for a while. However, and Ortega's got nasty striking, like, you know, nasty knockout over Frankie Edgar. But again, Diego Lopez, I think, coming in with a little more fire, has taken less damage than Brian Ortega has. Ortega had a nice last win, but I think Diego Lopez puts it on him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, dude. I said that. I went there.
Well, he's the favorite too, but not by much.
Not by much, man.
So I think that if Brian Ortega can like grab you, he's
finishing
trouble.
Almost everybody, right?
Yeah. And his stand-up, I mean, he got like a private boxing lesson from
from Max Holloway. Mid-fight.
Yeah,
I mean, remember
people pay a lot of money for that.
This last fight with his last fight, I believe, was with Yair Rodriguez, who's one of the nastiest strikers around. Once Ortega took him down, it was game over, man.
So
he is that much better than a lot of people on the ground. However, I just got this belief in Diego Lopez that he's kind of, he's the real deal.
Brian Ortega.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like going against you on these fights, to be honest. Yeah,
it's gonna be horrible because we're both gonna be so wrong.
We're
gonna be wrong on every fight, both of us. And then the main event, which again, this is something that came about like a month ago.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if they were already talking about this fight, like being on a later one. You know what I'm saying? Like, did they?
They just know they can call Barrera anytime they want, and he's going to jump in.
Well,
also, when you talk about Brazilian pronunciation, so that first R is like an H, and the second R is almost like a D. Is that how they're pronouncing it?
Barrera. I'm so confused. And then say that last name. Say Yuri's last name. And why is that Yuri?
Prochaska.
You sure?
No.
No. And how is that Yuri? It's Jiri.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
Yuri.
Anyway.
And also the little little marks above it. Like it looks like his hair. Like it looks like this is one if you're looking at it from the side. This is one from the front. This is from the other side.
Look, this whole thing with Yuri changed for me when I saw him a picture of him without a beard. And I was like, oh, this guy's got no chin.
Did you see though that he was like with some monks in silence? He
totally
was
awesome.
Doing like a month of silence.
Yeah, dude, that was a month, but those silent retreats are a real thing now. Aaron Rodgers, 3-day silent retreat.
He did a month, bro.
Yeah,
Also,
no, he didn't do him up.
one of
have.
the funniest things I've ever seen in my life is when Jamal he had to relinquish the belt because he was injured.
Oh yeah.
And then Jamal Hill, like he was like, I am coming.
Oh yeah.
And then Jamal said, but where you at now? And then looked around and then he was like, that's what she said.
Jamal Hill is low key super funny, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, not low key.
Not low key.
He did that
You're
shit
right.
on the gram, bro. So well, let's break this down.
Okay, so Petr has what probably close to 100 combat fights. I'm guessing if you got all of his kickboxing in there.
Hold on. Just I want to talk about something.
Okay. Talk about it.
So, yeah. So agree with me on this or disagree with me.
Okay.
On this. If you wanted to
go ahead.
If you wanted to beat Alex, you needed to fight Alex a year ago. And you needed to have really good wrestling.
Yeah.
The more time you give that man to work with Glover and Chuck Liddell and whoever else they're getting in there, the harder it's going to be to beat him because now he has takedown defense. And you have a guy who has a hook that will just put you in another dimension. He doesn't turn his hips over. He just throws it from here and like you look at the bag and you're like, oh, that was the death touch. Dude. He just dim mocked that bag.
For the longest time, I teach my guys, I'm like, get your elbow up on your hook. Then like the past couple of years, I'm like, you know what? Throw however you want, dude. I see Alex just right here. I'm like, that's a good one.
Yeah, did one of your guys say, that's Alex was showing to throw it like this? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's cool, dude.
Because Alex sends dudes to the shadow.
But I mean, if you think about it, because a lot of times this right hand is out, right? Or the right hand is right here. Instead of having to go over the top, that left hook just kind of comes right underneath the bottom of it.
Yeah.
It's super gnarly. I'm picking Alex for this one.
Yeah.
Big fan of Yuri, though. Yuri?
Yeah. So this is what I don't understand. So look at my man. He's 34-1.
Woo!
Yeah, like
that's a serious record.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Did you ever train with Jake Hune with us back in the day?
No.
Okay, Jake Hune, one of our old Austin training partners, ends up in fighting in Ryzen years later, fights Yuri and gets smoked like the rest of them.
Well, and they fought before, and he got KO'd in the second round.
Yeah.
So, but you look at my man's record, like Ozdemir.
Ozdemir, who just won this past weekend against Johnny Walker.
Yeah, he beat it.
Dude, his elbow to spin elbow against Dom Reyes was nothing but nasty. The guy is one of the most dynamic strikers out there. Again, if you want to beat Barrera, you're probably not going to do it with the striking. You probably got to take him down, get on top, grind out a decision. I don't know. Yan couldn't do that, when Alex went up to 205.
So, I have a thing about Yan.
Yeah.
So, I think what happened with Yan when he fought him, again, I think now it's too late. Yan had the best opportunity to beat him, but I think Yan, because they fought at elevation, because it was in like Utah or some shit like that.
Okay.
And I think what happened is Yan didn't know the elevation was going to affect him because Yan was gassed in the second round.
Yeah.
Because I put money on Yan because I thought he was going to go out there and take him down, and then he was exhausted.
So Yan, great fighter, kind of a dum-dum, doesn't know about elevation.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
What is Poland just Poland sea level, dude? Everybody knows that.
Yeah, that was like whenever Cain Velasquez lost.
That was Mexico City against Verdum.
Yeah, lost his belt to Verdum, and he was like, my boy was gassed.
Right. Everybody else went to Mexico City 4 weeks ahead of time. Cain Velasquez went like the week of.
Verdum was there for 8 weeks.
Yeah. Smart play.
Yeah,
Verdum.
he showed up. Was like, I'm just gonna. This is awesome.
Good call.
Yeah.
You gotta take world championship fights serious, and sometimes you got to go a little early.
Yeah. So
get used to the acclimate to the elevation.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to throw this on there so you didn't have enough time to really do this.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want you to pick a parlay. Again, don't bet on these.
Okay.
I want you to pick a parlay.
Yeah.
And it has to be 2 underdog fights and 1 favorite.
How many fights total?
3.
3 fights.
A 3-fight parlay with 2 underdogs and one fighter who's the favorite.
Okay. Let's see. Well, it's tough now. Go to the very bottom.
See how I dropped that in your lap?
Yeah. Okay. Arlovsky, I'll go him as one of my underdog picks. Go to the bottom. And I'll go Vinicius Olivera as my other underdog pick.
Okay. What's your favorite?
And favorite, I'll go Pfeiffer.
Really? Okay. So this is mine.
I think those are the most
Yeah. I'm going to go Alex Pereira.
Okay. For
my favorite.
All right.
Brian Ortega as one of my underdogs.
Ooh, good dog pick.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go Michelle Waterson is my other one.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Big parlay guy myself.
Yeah, me too. So, but if you drop it on you like right away, like, hey, like, what do you think of this?
Right.
Then you don't have enough time to like second.
No, I'm glad we were able to analyze the fights first, help make my decision better.
Right.
Although I would have liked to have seen the odds for the Venom Page and Machado Gary, as well as the Dolids versus Anthony Smith.
I'll make sure I got those on next time. Also, UFC, update your website.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Get real.
You got enough time to throw them Pelotons in the trash. Go ahead and update your website. All right.
So that's the whole card, dude.
Yeah, no, good breakdown. So what we're going to do is before big fights or big jiu-jitsu competitions, me and Andrew are going to come in. We're going to break down the fights or the matches if it's jiu-jitsu. And then afterwards, we're going to do another one of these that are going to recap. And then we're just going to talk shit back and forth about our picks because they're not going to be great.
Absolutely. Now, we're not going to limit it to just UFC, like you said, karate combat, PFL, Bellator, big boxing matches. You know, like Gervonta Davis just fought the other weekend. Excellent fight.
Yep.
This past weekend, we had Rob Whittaker getting that early first round finish. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in the combat sports world.
Wasn't that Rob Whittaker fight? Wasn't that supposed to be against Cosmonaut, but they got injured or something?
Hamzat got sick towards the end. I think, trained too hard. Immune system shuts down, gets sick. And they brought that guy in who Hamzat already had a KO win over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think like Hamzat, he needs to get back in there. Like he's supposed to be the second coming, but he hasn't fought in like a year.
Yeah.
Like 6, 7, no, it's like been 9 months. Like, you got to stay active or people are going to forget about it.
Right. Then he had that 3-rounder against Usman. I think if it had gone 5, I think Usman takes that.
Yeah, 100%. Also, it's one of those things where
he also hasn't fought a real 85er yet.
Because he just moved up. They made him move up because he missed weight or whatever. Yeah. 100%. No, you're right. I'm interested to see what happens in the 185-pound division and the 170-pound division.
Yeah, man.
So, all right.
So we'll be back on recording next week, recapping these fights and talking about any other fights coming up. Again, check out sheepdogresponse.com. Find a course that's near you, but more than likely, come down to Austin, get the full HQ experience, have a good time with it, learn some stuff that could save you or your loved one's life.